Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you a way to check how the stock market is doing even when the stock market is closed. Well, it won't tell you exactly how the stock market is doing, but it'll give you a rough idea, and that is looking at the futures. So if you go into Google and search for futures, you'll see a bunch of results. There's a bunch of top stories right here. For example, CNBC, Dow futures rise 100 points after Wall Street's losing week. That was 5 hours ago. Dow Jones futures signal stock market rally. Tesla Model Y China deliveries begin. So, as you can see, futures are a pretty big deal. They're always reported on. And if you look up what are futures, for example, Investopedia, it says a futures contract is the obligation to sell or buy an asset at a later date at an agreed upon price. So for example, let's say I was selling a pair of shoes for $100. Instead of selling the shoes to you right now, I would say, oh, I'll agree to sell you these shoes for $100 in the future at a later date. So that's basically what futures are. You're not selling it now, you're selling the obligation to buy or sell it at a later date. That's why it's called futures, I guess. So that's what futures are basically. And what's important about futures is when they're traded. So as you can see here, what hours do futures trade? The stock exchanges are open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday. So that's the actual stock exchanges. However, futures, the electronic futures market, allows trading 23.5 hours a day, from Sunday afternoon until Friday afternoon. So 23.5 hours a day? That's almost the whole day. Like, futures are traded almost all the time from Sunday until Friday afternoon. So that's why futures are so important, because the stock exchanges, they're only open until 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday. So when the stock exchanges are closed, people can look to the futures and see how the futures are doing to kind of get an idea of how the stock market is doing. So I usually go to the CNN website. As you can see here, the US stock futures, you have the Dow futures up 158 points. That's 0.51%. The S&P 500 futures, it's up 26.75 points. That's 0.71%. And the NASDAQ futures up 127.75 points. That's about 1%. So as you can see, they're all green. And that kind of points to a green opening once the stock market is actually open. So even though the stock market is closed, people can still check the futures to get a rough idea of how the stock market is doing and what the market sentiment is. So for example, I check the futures a lot because let's say that the futures are like super red, they're down like 5% each or whatever. That's a good indicator that the stock market is gonna go down real low once the stock market has actually opened. And let's say that they're super green, like they're up like 7% or something, something crazy. That means the stock market is probably gonna open up higher once it's actually open. So yeah, that's how I use futures. When the stock market is closed, I look at futures to kind of predict what's gonna happen in the stock market once it's actually open. And if you're someone like me and you're obsessed with stocks and you just need to know what's going on at all times, looking at futures is a good way to do that. Alright, that's it guys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.